Migan here. So this question is on how does coffee help with fat loss, right? How coffee helps speed up fat loss. Um, First, watch my video on the fat loss process. I go into extreme detail using visual representations. I went ahead and used OneNote to try to draw it out for you guys so you have an understanding of what's happening. I keep telling you guys, you want to increase muscle or lose fat or optimize your hormones, no basic biology or basic chemistry. You don't have to be an expert. Just know exactly what is happening within your body. This way, no one is gonna scam you. No one is gonna bullshit you and sell you stuff that doesn't work or make you do a whole bunch of shit that's unnecessary. Once you know how the chemicals interact and how the molecules and atoms come together, it's super easy to understand what works, right? So, how does coffee help with fat loss? First, again, you gotta understand how fat is stored because that's really all it boils down to. Remember, guys, that fat in your body is stored as triglycerides. I want to make it really short. It's a glycerol backbone and three fatty acids, right? So you have glycerol, which your body normally gets from carbs, glucose, right? And then fatty acids, which is come from fat. Sometimes your body turns glucose into fat. And when you put them together, you have triglycerides. That's fat. That's when you say I'm trying to burn fat, I'm trying to burn fat, I'm trying to lose whatever. That's what you're referring to. You're referring to triglycerides, right? It's not just fat, right? It's not just fat. It's not in your body as fat. It's glycerol, three fatty acids. Now, 80% of the fat acids that are burned in the body are burned in muscle tissue. So if you're trying to burn fat, you're trying to burn triglycerides, you're trying to burn mind you, this is the glycerol and this is it's like some fucking crip shit, right? This is the glycerol, this is the three fatty acid chains, right? You're simply trying to remove the three fatty acid chains, right? And you try to send them into the mitochondria of the muscle where they get burned. It's that simple. It's that simple, right? Now, remember, every process in the body is catalyzed by enzymes. Enzymes, hormones activate the fucking enzymes, and the enzyme does that, speeds up the reaction. The enzyme that separates the glycerol from the fatty acid. Remember, because glycerol and fatty acid, as triglycerides, are stored inside of the fat cell, right? They're stored inside of the fat cell. So, but they have to be burned where? In the muscle cell. So you got to find a way to cleave the glycerol from the fatty acids so that you could take the fatty acids out of the fat cell and into the muscle cell where it could be burned. The enzyme that cleaves that is a lipoprotein. No, that's the one that makes fat go into the thing. It's HSL. Sorry, hormone sensitive lipase. Hormone sensitive lipase is the enzyme that's responsible for splitting, the bond. Now, there's some other enzymes involved. I'm trying to keep it simple. There's triglyceride lipase and things like that, monoglyceride lipase, blah blah blah. Whenever you heard the word lipase, it simply means lipids. Enzyme that deals with lipids. So the enzyme that splits, those fucking, bonds is called hormone sensitive lipase, meaning it's sensitive to hormones. What hormones? The hormones that burn fat. Epinephrine, norepinephrine, depending on the country you're in, it'll be called adrenaline or noradrenaline. Glucagon, testosterone plays a role in increasing the receptors, but I'm going to get to that later. But mainly adrenaline and noradrenaline are like the top ones. And of course, glucagon when you're fasting. Now, where does coffee come into this, right? Caffeine increases the activity of those hormones. Caffeine increases adrenaline. Caffeine increases, noradrenaline and things like that. So that leads to a fucking cascade of events where the hormones are increased, binds to the hormone receptors, the beta receptors, activates CAMP, then PKA, all these fucking enzymes, then eventually activates hormone sensitive lipase, which splits up the glycerol and the fatty acids. So now the fatty acids can go into the blood, go into the muscle, enter by carnitine, and become oxidized, right? When you're training or lifting weights or doing HRT and things like that. So coffee just speeds up that process by increasing adrenaline. Now the question is, how does it increase adrenaline? Caffeine has a similar structure to adenosine. Adenosine is what when you're sleepy, you're tired, you're trying to go to bed, like, I just want to go to bed, whatever. Adenosine is the molecule that's making you feel that way. It binds to your cells and it calms down all the processes and it tells your body this motherfucker's tired, go to bed, go to sleep. So adenosine is what increases fatigue. Adenosine comes from ATP, obviously. You have ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. You remove one, you have adenosine diphosphate. You remove another one, you have adenosine monophosphate. You remove that last phosphate, you just have adenosine, and that's a bad sign because that means your body is really low on energy. And adenosine goes, and when your body senses that, it goes, oh, stop everything, make this motherfucker go to bed. We need to resynthesize ATP. Now, because caffeine has a similar structure to adenosine, caffeine blocks the receptors of adenosine. So now you have caffeine blocking all these fucking receptors. And now when adenosine is coming to say, hey, let's make this motherfucker feel tired, there's no parking spot. So now your body wants to make you feel tired, but it doesn't have a place where adenosine can land. That's when you take caffeine, you're like, oh fuck, I'm ready to conquer the fucking world, right? All these pre-workout things that you guys spend a shit ton of money in, caffeine is the most powerful ingredient. Because it simply blocks. That's why when you have caffeine, you feel like you're never tired because adenosine cannot find a landing spot. Caffeine is blocking that shit, right? And when that happens, your body's like, all right, adrenaline goes through the roof, which leads to what I explained earlier, right? So I hope that explains how coffee works. Of course, it does a lot of other things, but I'm trying to keep everything as simple as possible. This video can be like 20 fucking minutes. So just think in terms of, okay, caffeine is going to stop me from feeling tired. I'm going to have a lot of fucking energy. That's how it's going to make me burn fat better because I'm actually going to be more active and walk around, train harder, train longer. And also think, okay, caffeine increases the fat burning hormones. And it's that simple. That's how coffee works. All right, so I hope that answers your question. Comment your question below. Like the video if you fuck with Team 3D. And subscribe if you're a new subscriber. All right, guys, I'm out of here.